Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I am here with a quick voiceover video. So, now y'all know I don't ever toot my own horn, but I gotta say, this is a very ironic beep beep because I'm on my way to go for a run, and I look down at my phone and I see Martell-it. And I'm like, what Martell-it done now? Well, for those of you who don't know, y'all can head on over to the Original Straight No Chasers page on YouTube, or you can go to the Steve Harvey page. I'm sure they have it up too. But today, Martell-it was on the Steve Harvey Morning Show for a live strawberry letter with Steve and Shirley and nephew Tommy. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, the strawberry letter is all about a public apology, a public confession. And that is what Martell-it came onto the show to do. But the reason why I say it's ironic is because was I not just on my channel last week or week before last saying that I don't even care if Martell-it doesn't want to take accountability. I don't even care about him being accountable anymore. I think we could all digest this a little bit better if he would just say, you know what, that's in the past, it's behind me. I want to figure out the best way to move forward with my children, with co-parenting, and just move forward effectively from this divorce. And I'll be doggone, y'all excuse my car, if he was not on the Steve Harvey Morning Show asking for advice to do just that. So y'all go over to the Original Straight No Chaser or go to the Steve Harvey Morning Show so that you can listen to, it was about 33 minutes long, but I just wanted to come on here real quick and talk to you guys about it. I want to get your thoughts definitely down in the comment section. So a few things, a few thoughts that I have about it. First of all, he said he called Steve because he felt like Steve was the expert on it. Now, I thought it was interesting that Steve said he had never watched the show. He reiterated that he had never watched the show. And Martell-it let him know it is the #1 show on OWN, but that's all right. But he called Steve because he felt like Steve was the expert. And Steve is indeed the expert. I do believe Steve is, 3 or 4 times divorced, if I'm not mistaken. I know for sure 3, but it could very well be. This might be his 4th marriage. With Marjorie. This might be his 4th marriage, but Steve is definitely the one to call if you want advice on how to move forward from divorce. So that's why he called in. So a few of my thoughts that went on as they were doing this strawberry letter. My first thought is I do think he probably called the right person. I do think Steve, if you're going through something and you want to find somebody else who's been through it, Steve would definitely be the one. So that was my first thought. My next thought was I think we did in the beginning definitely get a different Martell-it. He was not coming in as accusatory or as riled up as he normally is. I think this is that was the storm Martell-it, and then I guess we're getting a little bit of the calm. I know some of you probably still are not buying it, and I can't say that I blame you because you always got to see with Martell-it. My second thing was, now Shirley, I F's with Shirley, I do, but when it came to this conversation, I kind of wanted Shirley to, for a lack of a better term to use right now, stand back and stand by. When Martell-it was talking, I understand that it can make you a little aggravated listening to Martell-it. I can understand that a lot of the conversation that him and Steve were having, depending on how you were listening to it, you either saw it as 2 men trying to come to some common ground and understand each other, or you saw it as some folks making excuses. It all depends on how you looked at it. But still, when men are having a conversation where they're finally holding each other accountable, I like for that conversation to commence without us interjecting. But I can understand why she wanted to she kind of was wanting to say certain things like, oh, well, he got a baby and we're not going to make this about Melody now. This is all going to be about you. She kind of started it out that way. And I was just like, now, Shirley, don't get Martell-it riled up. Okay, we got a different Martell-it. We got a calm Martell-it. And I want to keep getting the calm Martell-it because I want him to talk. I want him to speak. I don't want him to clam up. So just kind of let him and Steve hash it out. Steve can definitely be unbiased since he said he don't watch the show. I can't believe he hasn't even seen any of the publicity that's going on with it. But I kind of just wanted Shirley. I got it. I got why she was a little perturbed. I was like, dang, is Amelia homegirl Shirley? But I just kind of wanted her to I wanted him to talk, basically. And sometimes, ladies, y'all know I love you now. But sometimes I do think when the men are amongst themselves and they trying to get each other right, let them get each other right. Okay, this is the same way I felt when Farrakhan wanted to talk to the brothers whenever that was for the march or what have you, and all them women showed up. I said, well, now didn't he tell y'all stay at home? Didn't he tell y'all stay at home? See, y'all don't be listening. Y'all don't be listening. But I mean, I knew she watched the show. You could tell she was invested. They kind of did the whole, women are going to be mad at Martell-it forever. And let me tell you guys something. If I know women like I believe I know women, I don't think Martell-it is going to be hated forever. I don't. I think Martell-it is going to be hated up until the point where him and Mel begin to get along. Once we know that Mel is over it, I believe that other people will get over it and they will start to enjoy Martell-it again, and they'll probably shift the show to them co-parenting, and he will have a moment of redemption. If I know, let me not even say if I know women, if I know my people like I know my people, y'all know we will forgive. So I do think he'll have a moment of redemption, and maybe this was the first step. Maybe. We'll just have to see. Steve was giving them some pretty good advice. There were moments where I was just like, now, Steve, where you going with this? Especially when he would do every man knows this story. Every man has been, y'all can try to be righteous, but I'm just like, well, Steve, if they don't know the story, they don't know the story. Don't try to put everybody in y'all box. However, I do feel like Steve was just trying to make Martell-it comfortable. Similar to the way that the therapist, a lot of people were getting aggravated with the therapist, was trying to make Martell-it comfortable. That's just a little bit of my psychology brain coming out. I think that's what he was trying to do. Right? And this is when Shirley, too, was getting perturbed over to the side, making a few comments. But he did tell him you can't fix what's wrong in your life by going outside. Well, you can't fix what's wrong in your house by going outside of your house. That was some good advice. He found out about the baby. Steve was very perturbed about that whole baby thing. He was trying to get Martell-it down on a time. All Martell-it would tell us is that it was a newborn. Okay, that's all Martell-it would say. He keeping that age real tight. But Shirley threw in that it was born in December. I said, now, Shirley, didn't I tell you? Come on now. Because I want this man to keep talking. We rarely get the calm out of him. Steve tells him that a lot of men have had to battle with the fact that they blew up a family. And this is the part that was the most interesting to me in the interview, because this is where I did kind of hear some remorse from Martell-it. He even said that he couldn't even make the excuse that he didn't have the father figure or the husband figure, although that does play a part. So no, he can't make the excuse, but I think that's valid to bring up, that you didn't have the example. And a lot of people will say, just do the opposite. Like, do what you would have wanted done, which is cool for the father part. But what do you do for the husband part? If you haven't seen that in action. And it's so crazy to me, because this actually touches on a couple of videos that I want to do in the future. But, on YouTube, I know y'all see what's going on some of the other algorithms. It's a lot of finger pointing going back and forth. Between a lot of, I was about to say between a lot of the genders, but y'all know what I mean, between men, between women. And I'm just like, with so much healing that needs to be done between, on a man's side, on a woman's side, you would think that instead of so much finger pointing, the brothers would be sitting down with each other saying, well, how can we be better? How can we do better as fathers? For those of us who want to be husbands, like you would think it'd be like boot camps for that. And then similar that the women would get together, which I will tell you, I've been to several I want to be a wife type boot camp situations. They have them at church all the time. I have not seen a similar setup for men. I mean, I'm not saying that it don't happen. I'm just saying that I have not seen it, and I've been to some things myself that were woman ran and that were man ran. This one I was a little bit more desperate, y'all. I'm not like this no more. This is my probably like my early mid 20s. But you would think that there would just be more of that the brothers could get together and just talk about how they want to build and how they want to be better and the things that they want to do and the type of fathers and husbands they would like to be. And I think it would be helpful when they both were saying that marriage is a beautiful thing. The men can let me know. Y'all can let me know. Do y'all talk about that? Like marriage in that way when you are in your circles together, or is it like a ball and chain? Oh, because the married people I talk to are very discouraging. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And I really wish y'all would quit that. I know y'all just trying to keep it real, but shoot, tell us the benefits too, because it's not all bad. It's not all bad. So I was glad to hear them say that. And I was glad to hear Martell-it say he actually enjoyed being married. He thought it was a beautiful thing. He wasn't getting what he needed. I know that set Shirley off and a lot of the rest of us off. And so he went outside of his home, and that's when Steve told him, like, you definitely messed up there. You definitely messed up there. He said he should have communicated that better, or maybe he should have went about that another way. You think? He definitely should have. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that little part in. Y'all can let me know what you think. Have y'all ever seen some man boot camps or something like that? Do you think fellas, do you think you need something like that? Would it help you? I mean, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being very serious. Because there's a whole bunch of books in boot camps about what we need to be doing for real. But Steve did advise him to get some closure. That's something that women are very significant about. That's something that we're known for, baby. We loves a closure. But he advised that Martell-it get some closure for himself so that he could move forward, but also so that he could apologize publicly to Melody because the embarrassment was public. And he said that would probably be a good idea to do, because not only did he blow up his family, he blew up his marriage, and it was a lot of pain behind that for her. So, yeah, towards the end, Martell-it just gets to talking about like his feelings and how he feels about Melody now. He said he's not in love with her, but he definitely still loves her. Steve gives him more advice about how he just now needs to get to the point where he can do for the children, and even though he has lost the actual family, the structure of the family, you don't want to sacrifice the fiber of the family. And I guess by that he means like, you know, what your end goal is and how you want to raise your children. He says that the children were innocent, and you know, they lost a family too, but you want to try to still raise them in the same way. And I'm gonna tell y'all, as a child of, those children will never be, I'm not going to say they will never be like, it's never going to be the same. Even if you're the perfect co-parents, it's not going to be what you originally set it out to be. And I'm telling you guys this because it's what I know. My mom, it didn't work out with my dad. She got married to my stepdad. It did not work out with my stepfather. That really hurt me. You know, I am a stepchild 2 times over. I love my stepfather now. You know, both of them really. The divorced one and, you know, the man my mom has been with for years now, and married to. Love them both dearly. But it's always going to be a little bit different from the original fiber, the original structure that you intended to have for your children. And it's a big fear of mine about having children, because I've had to grapple with the fact that it's not the fact that I've never wanted children. It's the fact that I truly wanted a family. I truly wanted my children to be with us and raise them together and try to keep the structure and the village together as tight as we could. Not only for the sake of each other, but for the sake of the family unit. And sometimes I felt like it was ridiculous of me I'm being very transparent right now, to think that, because of all of the things that were going on in my own family, and just kind of how people look at you when you say that, like, oh, well, people get divorced every day. I know that, but I want to try for that. I want that, because I didn't get any of that. And I know a lot of people say children are resilient, and they are. I definitely bounced back, but it left me with issues that I feel are very much related to people walking in and out of my life. And I don't think anybody ever did it on purpose. I don't think anybody tried to walk away from me. But when people break up, they break up. And we were the house where all the family came to. We were the house where everybody was at. We would throw the family get-togethers and the game nights and all that. But when people divorce, even that structure, even that bond. So it's not just you and the other person you were married to that begins to break. It's the village. It's the unit that you're not around all the time, that you're used to. That's what I was used to every weekend. And it sounds like Mel and Martell-it had that going on too at their house. So you always get this feeling of who's leaving now. Okay, who's showing up now? Who I gotta love now? Who I gotta bring in now? I got 2 granddaddies and 2 stepdaddies and, 2 great grandmothers and, 2 step, you know what I'm saying? Like, because my mom's been married 2 times, like you find yourself having to welcome in all of these people. But in the back of your mind, even as an adult, I still pray to myself, like, I just don't want anything to change. And so, I don't know. It's just very difficult for me to think about stuff like that. So just know, you guys, the family structure, the family unit, you don't think kids are that concerned about it. You don't think it affects them. But I'm here to tell you, as a grown woman, it affected me. It did. I have a lot of love in my life. I'm loved by a lot of people. My old stepdaddy's family still considers me their own, and I am grateful. But it was a scary time. And it's a scary thought sometimes for me to have, for people to be in and out my life. And that's how I felt. I bounced back. I was a kid, so I was happy and, bouncing around. But I missed it. I felt the change. And it's still, when I don't see people, or when people are not around, I've done it to y'all. If y'all aren't on my channel for long periods of time, I'll come looking for you, because I will. And y'all know it, because it's just like a feeling that I get that I've really had to work with. But anyway, you guys, I've talked too much. He did end up apologizing at the end. Who's to say? Do y'all believe it was heartfelt? I hope he can move forward. I do. Because I want him to be in a good place, and I want Mel to be in a good place. People do deserve redemption. And if Mel gonna forgive him, then shoot, I might as well. But we still we gonna keep our eye on him, though. We gonna keep our eye. But I've talked for way too long. You guys let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Go listen to the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye.